Well, it's been a weird week and it's over. And as I am taping this, I'm going to the chiropractor right after this because my fucking neck is killing me. So, this is going to be kind of a road story. And it came to light that Lorena is re editing the first whole bag of crazy. And I had asked her whether I had put in anything about me working for a fucking drugstore as a driver. And there was two paragraphs in there that alluded to what was going on, so I told her to take them out because I had a whole setup about this because it's a blank spot in my work history, so to speak, because after I was apprenticing at the A&P supermarkets to become a butcher, I had to abruptly leave because I had a run-in with a manager and realized that this was bullshit, and that's going to be in the book, which should be probably done and out by the end of April because we're doing revisions and stuff like that. But anyway, after that, I had to get, I was used to having money in my pocket after a year and I needed a fucking job and I had no direction. So there was this drugstore at the end of the strip called Sperling Drugs, and a friend of mine's boyfriend was working there as a driver clerk and he was leaving. So I said, is the job up? And they said, yeah, and I applied and I got it, which probably was a shitty 2 years of my life, but that's beside the point. But something interesting did happen during that time period. I used to get a 30-minute lunch, and basically we're going to go for 30 minutes. So it was one of those days where I was actually out on the delivery and came close to a White Castle around lunchtime, so I figured, hey, fuck it, let me get a bag of sliders. So I'm out in the parking lot, sitting in my car, listening to some tunes, eating the sliders, when this guy pulls up next to me. And he goes, what is a Jersey boy doing with a Confederate flag on his bumper? In a thick Southern accent. Now, yeah, I did have a Confederate flag on my bumper, and this is not a woke fucking thing or anything like that. You got to realize this is back in 71, 72, where nobody really gave a shit about this stuff. In fact, you had bikers riding around with swastikas on their vests and shit like that, and nobody really paid attention. So it wasn't like I was a racist. There were Civil War trading cards out around then, which we thought were cool, so yeah, I thought the rebel flag was cool. Yeah, I'm a jerk off. Okay, but anyway. He's Q&Aing me about this, about why I have this thing on, so I get out of the car and I'm talking to him, holding my hamburgers. And all of a sudden, the sky opens up and he goes, get in. Well, his passenger side door isn't opening, so I slide through the window. Well, it winds up that this guy's name was Don Martin, and he was a stock car driver. And later on, I found out he was actually a stock car legend. And we were, sitting in his car, rain's pouring down. I offered him some burgers. He goes, no, I could eat the whole bag and still be hungry. So he's telling me that he's up here for this race at Raceway Park down in South Jersey. There was like these ads and stuff. Raceway Park! Huge nitro-burning, fuel-injected funny cars. I can't do the fucking jingle. But anyway, that was, I guess, where he was going to go. So we chatted until my 30 minutes was up, and I never thought much of it until I fucking remembered it a couple days ago when I remembered that whole drugstore deal. And it's just weird that the amount of people I ran into inadvertently during my life that were so either famous or semi-famous. And obviously, Don was a well-respected guy because I looked it up. I think there's actually a track up in his memory, and people just said he was one of the greatest guys, one of the greatest track owners, one of the greatest drivers. So I had a little brush with greatness there. As for the drugstore, well, it's another fucking story which will be in the book because the guy I originally was hired by was a guy named Lou Sperling because it was Sperling Drugs. What I didn't know was the place was sold to somebody else. And that somebody else didn't really know what he was getting into and got a bunch of bad shit. But then, like I say, it's going to be in the book. It's an interesting little fucking piece that I completely forgot about. We're up at Friday. It's been a weird week. I'm just trying to get my head together. I didn't have a really good week. And like I said, I'm going to the chiropractor momentarily. But I just wanted to get one last episode in for the week and see what next week's going to bring. So, until then, stay safe. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you on the flip side.